Welcome, race fans, to the famous World Center of Racing for 120 laps ripping around Daytona, all brought to you today on V-Speed for the SOARDOGG Cup Series, the Daytona 300 from the Great American Race. It is the Great American Race presented by SOARDOGG. My name is Scott Shive. I'm joined alongside by Sagar Bakshi with Christian Hill in production. It is going to be a fun and great day around Daytona. We've already had some fun, Sagar, and we are ready. We're ready to get to your grid. We've got 23 cars ready and set to take the green from Daytona. 31 degrees of banking, 18 degrees in the tri-oval, where it can get absolutely hairy and where we could definitely see some wrecks today in the 120 laps of running. It'll be Josh Christman starting up front with Brock Whiteman to his outside. Then in row 2, it'll be Michael Kish along with MJ Palmer starting 4th. Starting 5th, it'll be Caleb Jones, and 6th, it'll be Dustin Lewis. 7th will be Dana Ryan along with Andrew Allen starting 8th. Alex Pollock and Stephen Gill round out your top 10.
Then we're going to have Brett Wern next to Jackson Hatula in the 11th spot. David Moyer and Jose Mercado are going to line the next row next to Jerry Solidas and Anthony Trippi, alongside Caleb Hunt and Devin Lucan in the 52. Gino Villanti in the 35 next to the 29 of David Mayberry. Evan Janik in the 60, 25 belonging to Joshua Thornton there. And Charles Robertson rounds out all of the drivers lining the grid tonight.
Well, I feel like, Sauter, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about strategy and all of the business because we've got a long time to run around Daytona. 120 laps set ahead for these drivers in the opening of the SOARDOGG Cup Series with the National Sim Racing League Association. Let's go racing at Daytona.
For the cars side by side is the order of operation now. For the first lap of running, it will be cool runnings for all of the drivers now. And we see a couple drivers going to the bottom apron already, but it's still 2x2 up at the front, the 3 pushing up the 83 now as we head into the high banking. It's a 28 feet of elevation change here at Daytona. That's how large the banking is.
It was Caleb Jones who pulled out of line. He started up in 5th. We saw him pull down to the apron, wanted to go ahead and get out of the pack early. He will tag along the back with Jose Mercado. So they will hang out back there in the rears, but it's Brock Whiteman in the 41 outside line taking the lead, but here comes Josh Christman. Christman back to the inside, powering with his partner Michael Kish right behind, down the back straightaway. It is going to be a long day of tagging and bumping.
Now, I don't know why. There's a huge bump from the number 1 of Dana Ryan in the background into the 3 of Michael Kish. That was a huge bump, and there goes the 3 to the high side, trying to break out left. Now goes low side and center, and it will be a move for the lead. That's going to be my man for the day, Michael Kish, who's looking good on the tarmac tonight.
Sagar calling his shot early, but the question is, will the shot be too early? On to lap 3 of this 120 lap race from Daytona. Near 300 miles to be ran this afternoon with the National Sim Racing League Association in this Daytona 300 presented by SOARDOGG. Here we go. Josh Christman, he's back up in front of Michael Kish. It was an aggressive move from Michael Kish early, Sagar.
Yeah, it's a little bit of aggression early, so Let's talk about a few things right now. Why track position is more important now, especially in these next gen cup cars. Passing is harder at cars with super speedways because it's tough to generate a 10th to first slingshot in these cars. That side drafting isn't as large as it used to be. The outside line needs full commitment. The restart row selection is absolutely huge, but you need to be there to win it. You need to be in the top 5 before the final 5 laps come. And we're only 4 laps into it. Now, what happens in the inverse? Are you still at the front of the pack in 116 laps or so?
Yeah, when it comes to draft style racing, I like to either be first or in the back, because anywhere in between is a place that dangerous things can happen and plenty of things can go wrong. And even in the front of the pack, even in first place, you are not safe, especially when you're side by side just like they are now. It's Michael Kish in the 3 up on the outside. Then it is Brock Whiteman down on the low side in the number 41. It is 3 by 3, 3 cars in line, 2 by 2 for them inside and outside. 5 of Stephen Gills hanging out there, 4th car outside, number 5. So a few aggressive moves from Whiteman and Kish early, but fairly stable here.
You say stable, but I'm keeping my eye on that number 8 in pink, the black flag car. It's just wiggling and weaving its way behind Michael Kish in that number 3 out in front of Brock Whiteman on that high line, continuously wiggling away. And look at Kish control both lanes at the same time now. Came down from the high side, committed to the low line. And that's the type of control that we're looking for in the race leader, to kind of bunch up the field behind you and say, hey guys, let's run this train together and just run away with it. And I think the number 1 all the way to the front are kind of hearing that call right now.
On that bailout by Michael Kish has really stalled out the second lane, and man, Dustin Lewis is really trying to get something going with the aid of MJ Palmer, that bright pink machine. But you can see stable is not the rear end of MJ Palmer. I mean, he is just wiggling and waggling like a dog, and while they do that, the inside line continues to power forward. Looks like one car has been shuffled out of line. That is Josh Kreisman, who started on pole, got shuffled out of that inside row, so he'll join up with the aid of MJ Palmer. Palmer will pick him up, give him a big shot, and maybe they can recreate this outside line. But they're 3 cars back now 4.
It's really difficult to say what can be done right now, but I know for sure that that black flag racing car is not looking as stable as it could be. Look at the cars around it, just running kind of more steady than not. And that 8 black flag is just wiggling and weaving its way through the track. The next gen cars have changed Daytona strategy. The diffuser makes it harder to build, and the stiffer chassis makes bump drafting less forgiving. So track position, of course, matters more than ever, but it's all about these organized manufacturer lanes and precision pushes. In this era, you're not going to win by charging from 10th on back. You'll win by being in the right lane at the right moment. And right now, this second lane is not looking good and healthy.
Second lane absolutely fading. I just think MJ Palmer doesn't have the stability to be able to go up and lead the lane, or be able to push Josh Kreisman forward strongly enough to be able to go catch back up with this inside lane. Outside line continues to fade. Got a couple cars, about 5 on the outside, starting with Kreisman and then rolling back through that outside line. But pretty much everybody else lined up on the bottom. This is riding along with Josh Kreisman in the gyro cam, and you can just experience for yourself while you're watching with us on V-Speed just how heavy this banking is, how aggressive this banking is.
Yeah, and there goes Alex Pollock to go ahead and consume the lead of that high lane. And beautiful nose shot right now, riding on with Kreisman in that 83, giving that bump of the nose to the driver ahead of Alex Pollock. But it still fades away, and Pollock slips back 2, almost 3 positions, now battling with the 63 as well. That's Jerry Salidas charging through the field. What is going on to this high side lane? It is just consuming drivers.
Yeah, people have started to bail now. Palmer is out of it. Another car in the rear started to bail out of it. for a moment there, they had 8 cars in the outside line, and still they could not get enough momentum together to try to push forward to catch up with this inside line. Just too much power for it. Those front 5 have really all gathered together strongly. Really, the front 4 have all been strongly together and been just very solid, as we'd say, and I think we have not seen that same solidity from the outside lane, now led by the 5 of Stephen Gill. Gill jumped up there from the inside, tried to make something work, but he's only fallen back because of it.
It's absolutely bananas. I want to keep an eye on one driver in particular right now. This is going to be Charles Robertson, driver and pilot of the Toyota number 43, in 5th place, gained 18 positions. I'll say that again. 18 positions from the start of this race, now sitting in 5th place. Don't know how the STP driver did it, but that Dollar Tree livery is looking mighty fine on track. I'm sure he's feeling mighty fine as well, because he has gained a whole haul of points in this championship.
He definitely has, and really got to say, I think it was just by him staying committed to that inside line. People trying the outside and others going around him, and then bam, he's right there to the inside, just kept pulling forward. Lap car we're approaching upon right now, that is Anthony Trippi in the number 83. For one reason or another, got disconnected from the pack early on, and he will go 1 lap down early on in this race. Only 11 laps completed. We are on lap 12 as of this moment, but Anthony Trippi will be the first car to go 1 lap down.
Now, that brings up a good question, as Josh Chrisman now is in the number 83, slings back with Jerry Salinas a little bit. Again, that high line just not working the favorable speed for drivers. Now, Scott, we've talked about this a little bit off air, and I'll come clean finally. I'm a road racing guy. I am not akin to oval racing, so I might ask some silly questions. Are some of these drivers looking to potentially fuel save or tire save on that high line and just kind of stay out of trouble right now? What do you think is going on there?
I think if there's any fuel saving going on, it's down in that low line. There's a lot more power being generated from the more cars breaking the draft, so there is a greater use of saving fuel. I think these guys on the outside, to now some avail, are trying to make hay and catch back up with this outside line. So if you're thinking fuel saving might be your strategy as of this moment, you want to find the bottom, because with only 6 cars on the outside lane, you're going to have to use more throttle to help them push forward. If you're laying back on that outside, the lane's obviously not going to start moving. And now that it is moving, I would say that a lot of the cars in that line have started to push the throttle down a lot heavier. Drivers on the inside, about 8 cars back, really can stay about 50% throttle.
That makes a lot of sense, and thanks for that explanation. I think it provides a little bit more insight to what the strategy could be for the drivers on that high line, because you see it not going well for you right now. So you've got to start thinking in the long term of, where do I come down pit lane, or when do I come down pit lane? How do I optimize this strategy? It's a little bit tricky to decipher when you're doing it at 194, 196 miles an hour. But for us in the booth, we have more time to think about this and analyze what the drivers are capable of doing. Now, we do have a limited fuel load. Will that come into factor coming into the last couple of stints, Scott?
It definitely could, and I think we're going to have to see when we make our first pit stop today for fuel and see what these drivers elect and what that's really going to set the strategy to be. Is this going to be a one-stop race? Could they make? I don't think it's going to be a one-stop race anywhere near. Is it going to be a 2 or 3 stop race, which is most likely the case? It's probably going to be a 2 to 3 stop race when we get into fuel strategy. Obviously, 120 laps. They're going to have 4 tire sets available. I don't think we'll see drivers use those unless we're under caution. Obviously, we'll have 3 green-white checkered attempts, as per usual with most racing series. 80% fuel, so that tells me we can probably go about 35 to 40 laps on this set of fuel. So we'll probably see a three-stop race if we remain under green. Now, cautions could change that up fairly quickly, Sauger.
Yeah, that's something we haven't really talked about at all, is the cautions. that can be created here at the track. And it really will throw a wrench into everybody's strategy as well, because man, we're gonna have a lucky dog potentially come out. We can potentially have drivers come down pit road right before that caution period comes out. Under ovals, it's a lot different than road racing, so I'm never quite sure when the optimum pit strategy is. But I know if you're unlucky enough to come down pit road and the caution gets thrown right after that, that's just bad luck in road racing or any type of racing, no matter what. So the drivers here at hand in iRacing will be able to face it and just come up with an interesting strategy with this 80% fuel load. I think that the drivers on that high line are definitely considering it. Josh Christman, Alex Pollock, all kind of in that window of, let's do something different than what the field is doing right now.
I like the way you're thinking. I like it a lot, Sauger. I want to take this time, want to thank some sponsors here within the National Sim Racing League Association. I want to thank Downtown Auto Sales from Cumming, Georgia. Find your perfect ride at Downtown Auto Sales. Browse our extensive inventory and online virtual showroom. Each vehicle has detailed information, a picture gallery, and easy ways to contact them for further details. Ready to visit them in person? They are at 208 Atlanta Road in Cumming, Georgia. You can find everything they have to offer at downtownautosales.org or at 470-239-8979. That is Downtown Auto Sales. Need a car and you're in the Atlanta area? Visit downtownautosales.org. So, completing 18 laps now, on to lap number 19. And we said we saw a bit of wiggle. We saw some unsettlingness from the 8 of MJ Palmer, that bright pink machine. But in terms of what we said about cautions, this field has been fairly calm in their respectful racing towards each other.
Yeah, it's just looking like an interesting race so far. The positions gained and lost really tell a big story right now. But the 29 of Dave Mayberry is the driver that's leading that high line alongside the 83 of Josh Christman. Excuse me, I think I misspoke. The 29 of Mayberry and Josh Christman in the 83 behind. See, they are working together, and now we're getting a little bit of a squallow there in the mid-pack, and why not force it 3 wide? And I love oval racing for this scenario alone. The 3 wides going at 190 miles an hour.
Oh!
No heavy braking zones. We're just going after it.
Did you see that? MJ Palmer nearly got sideways in front of the field. All of that really started because the field started to pass the second lap car of the day, the 25 of Joshua Thornton. You can see him at the bottom right hand of your screen. He is 1 lap down, but has joined in with the rest of the pack. But that's kind of shuffled us up just a little bit. And the outside lane, we mentioned it stalling out earlier. Well, with the lead of David Mayberry, they've been slowly coming up on the outside. They're coming back into this fight.
And David Mayberry, up 15 positions right now, running that high side line, is in 4th position overall. He's not too shabby right now, and exactly what you described earlier, just getting on the round pedal, putting it down, and finding the momentum there. They're definitely working it. They're good. They've got good laps beneath them. Last laps around are all looking nearly identical. 46.9s for the first 3 drivers, and 46.5 for David Mayberry, who's finding a little bit of time on that high side now.
So here comes Mayberry with the help of the 83 of Josh Christman. They have solely moved this lane forward, of which we had seen it stalled out for quite a while. Dustin Lewis, he tried to help out earlier, but him and MJ Palmer just could not get it going. But now it has revived, and Michael Kish is going to have a challenge for the first time in about 12 laps, and they are back. Kishman, though, we've seen him make some moves. We've seen him block 2 lanes at once. Will he decide to do that now, or will he continue to just ride with that low line?
It's absolutely phenomenal to me that we have all of these drivers still in this pack. We haven't seen a caution yet, knock on wood, cue the commentator's curse, of course, as we see 3 wide in the background there, and the Toyota falling back as it's very high and can't find the grip there. But now it's still up to Mayberry, who's on the charge to close down the gap. But like I was just saying, we've closed down the gap here on the high line, prevented it from stalling out, and now we're still in a 22 car pack battle, and there's the caution I would assume to come out, and I couldn't tell
still
which.
green.
It's still
Off the
green.
racing surface. It's Jose Mercado. He's falling out of line, and I believe, yes.
Salinas?
No, not Salinas. He's still in the pack. There was another car around it. Let me go tag him. Oh, it was the lap down car of Joshua Thornton as well.
Man.
But it was Mercado, as well as Thornton that got involved in that one. Off the racing surface, so no caution, and Thornton is going to go ahead and bring it to pit road. And Mercado, he's going to stay on track, but he is going to be about 10 seconds behind Jerry Salinas, who is 19th in the last car with this front pack.
So I was just about to cue into my segment about crashes, and there we go. We had one. But I was going to say, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you.
I was going to say we're going to have bigger crashes than ever. I think because of that stiffer chassis that we have, the diffusers are going to lift when the cars get turned, but the cars are snapping sideways quicker a little bit. We've seen it happen a couple of times, but the drivers have been able to either recover it or, when they do have that collision like we saw, run down to the apron and still be able to collect the cars. It's quite phenomenal here. So survival instincts matter a lot for these drivers.
It was really impressive for Mercado to stay off of the wall. I mean, he was headed straight for it and was able to keep that car, that Ford Mustang, nice and clean. And so if we do get a caution at some point, he'll be able to come in, take some tires, and possibly, depending on if we get a caution, we could have him stay on the lead lap. Let's take a replay. It's the bright orange and black 6. Just a difference in lane there. It was the 25 of Joshua Thornton kind of coming off the bottom, off the exit of 2, and it looked like the 6 of Mercado was looking to come down, maybe move to that bottom lane. So just not enough spotter communication there, and 2 people going for the same lane.
Yeah, 2 into 1, whether it's road racing or oval racing, just typically does not work, unfortunately. As we go back over to the live, Wern now just right there alongside Lewis in the lead as Kish falls back to P3 now. That high line working well. Wren and Dustin Lewis, that's Mr. Dustin Lewis to me apparently, rides out in P2. Brett Wren? Brett Wren. Thank you. I want to make sure I get it right. Is up 10 positions right now and leading this race now on lap 26.
Well, and to me, my timing screen is being very funky because it's got Brett Wren. Oh, it's because I'm behind. That's why. I went back to go look at that incident, and that absolutely say why Brett Wren is in the lead with the help of the 33 of Dustin Lewis. But here comes Josh Chrisman on the outside. He's been kind of hanging back around the back of the top 10. He tried to get that outside line going. He's been pretty much in that outside line ever since. He's got the help of Jackson Hautala right now in the number 9 right behind. That bright red, white, and black number 952 of Devin Lucan is there with them. Haven't gotten to talk much about Lucan yet, but he's trying to make a charge midway through this race. And look at this, we got some peeler offers. We got cars coming to pit lane. Michael Kish seems to be one of them. He's locking up the tires a little bit, but no black flag seems to get in on time. One other driver along with him, that is Brock Whiteman. So just 2 coming in solo to pit. That is, they're going to have to have some help because that is going to be a tough one in the draft to just have the 2 of them.
Yeah, it's very important to get that pit entry right, but it's also very difficult. You can lock up going into pit road. It's just a common thing to do. The downshifts have to be smooth, but missing your pit entry under green, well, that is just catastrophic. The sequential 5-speed gearbox and the braking characteristics of this car make it a little tricky to come down pit road as we get a couple more pit stop callers. That'll be Chrisman, Dustin Lewis, and Dave Mayberry.
So David Mayberry in as well, 3 cars this time. So I was a little bit aggressive on thinking they could go 35 to 40 laps, but only seeing small packs come in here. I really thought a lot of the drivers would maybe talk and we'd say maybe 2 to 3 big groups, but it seems more like we might see a sequential use of smaller groups. We had a group of 2 to start and now a group of 3. Let's see this time if anyone else decides to come in. It's Hautala and Charles Robertson leading. Robertson up on the outside, started in dead last, and now he is up in first, but saying that he's on that outside, I don't think he'll be pitting this time, and no one's pitting this time. So early pit stops from those first 5, and with them pitting at this time, Sauger, it's got to make me think that these cars can only go just above 30 laps. So you're going to have to stretch this fuel now if you want to make it a 3-stop race if we remain green.
30, 60, 90, 120. Okay, the math is mathing. I see where you're going with this now. The drivers, have to stretch it to 30 laps. If they can stretch it to 31, 32, they start getting into a little bit of safer margins, obviously. But I think some of these drivers were being extremely careful with their fuel conservation on this early stint, and there is a little bit of contact, to say the least.
You saw that from Caleb Jones. Jones earlier, remember we saw him on the opening lap pull out of line and go all the way to the back of the pack, and that might have been the exact reason he did that. But we've got a caution. We have a caution out for the first time today on the racetrack, and I'm not seeing anybody sideways. Trying to listen to race control right now. Sounds like that Gino Volante is upset over the radio.
It might be perfect time.
I didn't see him go sideways.
It might be perfect time for the pit stop for MJ Palmer and Stephen Gill, who are both in pit lane right when that yellow came out, and we're getting a couple of drivers to take to the pit lane now as well. But I'm right there with you, not seeing a reason for the caution unless this is just a competition caution at the 30 lap mark.
It could be, and if that's the case, it wouldn't surprise me to have seen cars try to pit early and maybe be able to leapfrog that and others stay out. So it looked like that MJ Palmer, Stephen Gill were the last 2 to be able to get on pit road. About 8 cars came into the pit lane before we have come to our first caution of the day, but no cars around, so could possibly be a competition caution for some of these drivers, and seeing a little bit of a push here. So yeah, probably a competition caution most likely, and others deciding to, hey, try to jump this, and we'll be up at the front when everybody else decides to pit under the caution period.
Such an interesting play here. Do you pit before and leapfrog, like you're saying? Do you pit under caution? Where is the time gained, really? It's just making up time differently in the pit lane, right? That's what we're talking about. We're seeing drivers come down the lane and have pit stop times as low as 6.5 seconds, but some drivers taking pit stop times as much as 16.5 seconds. And seeing a driver, Dana Ryan, right now with 22, 23 seconds in the pit lane, probably taking some damage repair or overfueling their car for the next thing. Oh, shoot, there is a black flag penalty. You're right.
So maybe a little bit of a excess penalty there. So we're getting word from our producer, the great Christian Hill. No really cause for that caution. We searched with all of the iRacing sims. So I guess our best guess is most likely a competition caution. And it brought up that question about strategy of pitting beforehand or pitting after. Really, I think the only big difference is, besides track position, is how much fuel are you going to have in the tank. And if you pitted before the caution and you're going to start up front, then you're going to be burning more fuel at the front of this field. And so you might not be able to go as long on the next fuel mileage strategy and the next stint as the others that pit after this caution. So it might be a bit of, I wouldn't say a Hail Mary, but they're definitely going to be hoping for a caution, or maybe hoping for some excess caution laps to save some extra fuel in the tank, because with how it's going right now, you do not want to make this race more than 3 stops.
I've got an unfortunate update right now, and this really does break my heart because I Really liked the driver. I liked what they were doing. I liked that they were in the lead of the race for a brief point in time. I'm talking about Charles Robertson, the number 43. As he was coming down pit lane, I believe he ran out of fuel and had to teleport to his box.
Oh, no.
So the man is now in 23rd position, will lose a lap, obviously, for teleporting back down the road. And it's just so unfortunate that it happened because he, like I said, he was in the lead of the race. He's got a beautiful STP livery attached to him as well in the Toyota Camry. But unfortunately, calculations gone awry for Charles Robertson.
And he was on pit road too. I mean, he was.
Oh yeah, he was
not 200 feet from his box.
And his box is the first one.
Yep, that is an extreme penalty. Oh man, that is true miscalculation from Charles Robertson, and that's one of those things you got to know how much fuel you have in it. I think that tells us exactly how much fuel these drivers had. So I think no matter what, if we got that caution or not, drivers were about to be coming into the pit lane no matter what, because it seems like 32 laps is probably the maximum. This is that replay of Charles Robertson, and just not enough momentum. He knew it by this point. He was like, I'm not going to make it.
And you could see his box is right there behind the flashing red lights and just teleports to pit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just my heart goes out to the man, the number 43 right now. But the thing that I want to talk about as well is driver attrition. We haven't seen a single driver drop out of this race yet. We started with 23. We're still running 23 as we get to the 33rd lap of this race. It's quite phenomenal to see that. Normally you will see drivers drop out if things don't go their way. And we do have a couple of drivers that are down 12, 11 positions, but they know that things can always come back and go their way eventually, especially with the caution periods that we have. So just shout out to the drivers for keeping their heads in the game and wanting to still be here and race their hearts out.
Well, plenty of laps ahead. Only 1/4 of the way through this race, a little over the 1/4 mark. So we have a lot of racing left to go, and it's only been 30 minutes that we've been racing in the sim and our first caution of the day. So normally when we see a caution, I would say the aggression can change and the energy of the pack can change. But honestly, for this competition caution, I think we're probably going to see a lot of the same, what we just did. I think it's going to be fairly a lot of calm running. Now, I'd be interested to see, though, Sauger, can this outside line stay relevant? Because last time we saw that it just didn't have the proper leadership and it began to fizzle out. Could that be different this time with a different set of cars up populating the outside of that front lane?
That's very true and a great point. We don't know who's going to be in control of that high line just yet, as drivers are still sorting themselves out, it looks like. But it didn't work out well for them during the mid stage. In the later stage of that stint, we did see that high line become favorable and charge through the field. It was a good run for Charles Robertson in that high line, but it's all up to who controls the field, right? Like you said, restart row selection is going to be huge as well. Do you want to risk it for the biscuit and take that high side again, or do you want to take that favorable low line on that restart? It's all up to the drivers, and they're going to know best tonight.
Drivers will know best. All right, had to clear some black flags, people pitting when the pit road was closed. A little bit of a mishap there, but black flags were cleared. Everybody will be cleared here, but a lot of people starting on that inside line, and it's not going to help the start of this outside lane. So already they're going to be sniffed with a little bit of issues. It is currently the 52 of David Lucan and the 29 of David Mayberry, the only two out there. And I think that is going to absolutely impact this outside line, Sauger, because there's barely an outside line.
Yeah, we're two cars running together. It's not really an outside line. It's just a duo now taking to the low line. What
Lucan, he made it work
there. Yes, he did. The number 52 of Devin Lucan charges through the field, and there comes down the number 19 to squeeze his way in. There was barely enough room to squeeze a credit card between those cars, but somehow he was able to do it. Caleb Hunt driving that number 19 up 13 positions right now.
Yeah, Caleb Hunt was coming a huge head of steam. Looked like he was going to help out the 29 of Mayberry and then duck down into that quick hole down on the low side. Now it's the 92 of Alex Pollock pulling up to the outside lane. He wants to lead the charge. Mayberry on his bumper, pushing heavy. Brock Whiteman, third car in line on the outside. But what about the run from Mayberry and Devin Lucan that allowed Lucan to get clear to the lead? And then Mayberry was kind of left out to dry.
Yeah, unfortunate there, but we're seeing a little bit of a look there from the 29, Dave Mayberry, wanting to shake and bake things up here at Daytona, the home of racing. It is absolutely bonkers how close these drivers are getting, and there goes the 32 into the quick trip machine going forward on that high side line. Alex Pollock in the number 92 getting a little push in front of Jerry Salinas. No side by side with Salinas, and a huge touch for the trip, and he might trip up and fall on the high side line. Scott?
Oh my goodness. I said the energy of the pack. I didn't think it was going to change, but it's easy for commentators to be wrong. And things have definitely changed. Drivers have gotten just a little bit more aggressive at this point. And once again, the outside line is gone. And we said it earlier, and it instantly repopularized itself. And yet now it's gone again. So really an ebb and flow of drivers joining and leaving that high line. But everyone that's on the bottom is usually staying stuck to the bottom, led by David Lucan at this point. Now we've got a good 4 cars in line, now 5 cars in line. Red led by, looks like Caleb Hunt. He's jumped up to that outside with the help of the 5 of Stephen Gill. But it's a continual ebb and flow of drivers joining and leaving.
I like what Stephen Gill is doing. He's not really challenging forward right now. He really is helping the 19 along. He said, okay, you know what? I was in control of this pack. We were doing kind of fine without you, but I'll allow you to run us into the lead of this. Just help me get the slipstream right now. And he is definitely pushing along that number 19 of Caleb Hunt right now. It is just a phenomenal lane to be in, and you can see the 5 of Stephen Gill escaping the cars behind a little bit as they work with the number 19 in front. Here's the 25 on the low side next to that 5, and they're going to get tight and hectic here. It just is a whole nother ball game, oval racing, and I'm absolutely here for it. Look at these liveries. The number 25 is one that I'm going to tip my hat to right now, especially with World Affairs going on. Shout out to all of the armed forces in the world right now, especially those in the United States, and shout out to any veterans watching or racing tonight.
Well, shout out to yourself as well. I know you're a veteran, learned that today, and so we definitely want to shout them out. We respect and love the people that will go out and fight for our country. It is absolutely something that we need, and it's something that deserves to be praised. But here we go. 25, you talk about Joshua Thornton in that Marines machine. He's still 2 laps down, so he still has continual work to do, but he is staying in this pack, and he is staying at it. You can see that 25 of Joshua Thornton is not giving up. This is the 5 of Stephen Gill. Alex Pollock to his inside. Gill, 4th car in lane. It looks like Josh Crispin has come up and is leading that outside line once again.
It's looking good for that high line again. It's starting to get healthy. It's starting to get fast. They're definitely picking up the pace right now. It's just phenomenal to see that they're able to make this work. It's all about the leaders. Something that I learned just today is it's not about, oh, the 19 comes back down into the low side, avoiding the 84. Now falls in behind Joshua Thornton driving that number 25. I think that might have been a dive a little too soon, as the Country Classics car just seems to not be, Country Candles, excuse me, car, just seemingly not happy with either line that they keep on choosing.
Well, and look at this. For a second there, Anthony Trippi was giving some great push momentum to the 83 of Josh Kreisman. And the 83 of Trippi, he's 1 lap down, unlike Joshua Thornton, who's 2 laps down, but they're both up in this pack and both having the ability to fight and stay in it, fighting for who will be that lucky dog if a caution was to arise once again. But him and Kreisman were working very well together for a moment there.
Now, so I want to talk about defense a little bit, something that we haven't really come across just yet, as there's a car that moves out in front of the 84. That'll be the
It's the 83.
83 now, who dives out in front. Josh Christman is the car in front of the 84, leading the pack now. And just defensive lines, and how do you defend in these next gen cut cars? I know we talked about it a lot, the underbody downforce, meaning side drafting isn't powerful as used to be, but leaders can be in the dirty air more effectively, right, Scott?
Definitely. Dirty air will be a factor, and it's very important to be staying in line in this draft. And really the biggest thing when it comes to defense is blocking, and trying to block those big runs from a line behind you. Also, not getting too far out in front of your line. You don't want to get too far out and let the pack behind you carry momentum, because if they so choose, they could jump out and go right around you. So it's about managing your speed out front, and then if a second line forms, starting to block it. Here's David Lucan. He doesn't decide to block. Pollock had a good run on the outside with the help of Christman. And so Christman and Pollock will charge the lead with the help of Anthony Trippi in the 84. So 2 cars out. But here was the thing. Pollock, he's getting pretty far out there. That's going to allow Christman to maybe make a run to the bottom. He's looking low. Will he take it, or will he go with Pollock? Pollock will block. That's exactly what we talked about.
Exactly what we talked about. You're absolutely pitch perfect there. The 83, the 84, both able to come on down with Alex Pollock, the number 92, leading the field right now. And that was the momentum drive that you were just describing. And then the block executed pitch perfectly. I couldn't find a better description of what I was asking for if I had begged for it.
So Pollock and the 92 will assume lead for the first time today. Christman is back up there for probably the third time today, but he started out front, started on pole. It looks like our friend, the 52 of David Lucan, who was leading that inside line until then, has now jumped up to the outside with David Mayberry. Let's go on board with the 9 of Jackson Hautala. He's currently running in the 11th spot, inside line, right behind the bright pink machine. And so Hautala, he'll ride along here, and he's just hanging out right now. You can see his in-sim camera and his on-person camera. Love to get a webcam action from some drivers with Hautala here. You can see on the left side of your screen as well some of the telemetry, and that's a lot of RPM, I can say.
Yeah, and you can see that he is focused, and you can actually see the reflection of the sim in his monitor, so you can see his wheel and what he's doing as well. And he's chatting with someone, probably his team, discussing what he needs to do to advance to get a little bit forward right now. And it just adds so much character to the broadcast. I love these driver cams. It gets us a little bit of insight to what they're going through right now, but you can absolutely see his focus. He's glaring down a little bit, looking at his telemetry a little bit, or potentially he's checking out the broadcast and himself to see that he's on broadcast. You know, I caught myself doing that a time or two. I know you're guilty of it too, Scott, but here at Daytona, it looks like Hautala, running in 12th position, is pretty healthily running right now, and has the do Toyota out in front of him, the number 63.
So Hautala currently in 13th spot. Riding along outside lane now, he has moved up to, coming up to the rear of the 41 of Brock Whiteman. So he's just kind of hanging out back here, and is in a position that if we were to have something go wrong, he'd either be right dead in the center of it, or he'd have some time to get out of it. But we have not seen any big incidents today. Only one incident today, and that was with Jose Mercado, as well as the 25 of Joshua Thornton. And it was a 2-car incident down out of turn 2 that did not bring out a caution. So the big one has not yet happened today, and it may not happen, or it may happen any moment.
Yeah, it really hasn't. We haven't seen any big calamity or any big incidents yet. One driver I want to check up on right now is Caleb Hunt in the number 19. He's down into 16th place now. He was battling way further up in the field, and now he is all the way back down into 16th place. Not sure what happened to him, but he's obviously found out that the lines he was picking were not working in his favor. So he's kind of settled in the backfield, and maybe he's executing some fuel saving or he's executing some tire saving right now.
Well, and one person on the other side of that coin is Jerry Salinas in the number 63 car. Just saw him a moment ago out of the front windshield of the 9 of Hautala, but Salinas, he has moved up to that outside line with the help of Anthony Trippi. He wants to take a moment to try and give it a charge forward to maybe go up and command this pack. Here comes David Mayberry, and Trippi and Mayberry have been two really good pushers. There's a big difference. Some people are really good at pushing, as we had 3 wide there for a moment. One car in the middle of the 29 of Mayberry. It looks like I think that was the 96 of Andrew Allen, but everyone was able to settle out. But what I was saying, some drivers are really good at pushing. Some drivers are really good at leading a line. Some drivers are good at both, and some drivers are good at neither. I'm one that's good at neither, but you want to be at least one of the two.
Absolutely true. Here's the 63 and the 29 chasing down the cars there. The Country Candles 96 having a bit of a wiggle, a big bump from the 12 into the 84. And that'll jettison him up all the way behind the number 5. And it's like the 96 saw that one coming and just dived out of the way. Beautiful shot here of the cars coming down through the chopper cam as we chase the cars coming down through the tri-oval next. It's just absolutely fantastic running. And I'm just blown away still that the 23 drivers are all still here running.
Saw a big checkup on that inside line starting all the way from the front. It allowed David Lucan to jump out of line from the 6th spot, and the 96 of Andrew Allen followed with him. And look, here they are battling for a front spot, and they've got help from the 63 of Salinas and the 29 of Mayberry. So we talked about the ebb and flow, and here we go. The first time we've seen a third lane form all day. It's being led by the 14 of Brett Wren.
Holy smokes, this is absolutely insane. 3 lines of running at over 180 miles an hour. The drivers are absolutely reckless right now.
You talked about Caleb Hunt. He joined up in this outside line that had great momentum, but was immediately stalled out by Andrew Allen. And now that third lane, while it was running absolutely forward with tons of momentum, is now falling backwards. Allen leading that lane. It's being blocked by David Lucan now. And now it's the middle that seems to be stalling out. Goodness, it's all over the place today.
It really is all over the place. Front, left, center, high line, mid line, low line. I cannot believe the drivers are doing this at this rate of speed, and it looks like a double block there from the purple car out in front. It just looks like he's consuming those 2 lines and stalling out both at the same time. But can the 63 do the do and find the line and the pace to secure it? I think he has, I think he can, I think he will at this time of asking.
I see what you did there. I liked it a lot. And the minute we got that block from Lucan and Allen to that third lane, everyone seemed to have got confused whether they wanted to be in the outside line or the middle line, and everything is really broken up. So what we saw 3 wide action for about a lap and a half, nearly even at the front, has now completely broken apart, and we're only 3 wide at one point of this pack, and now that point is gone as well. So it's that quickly, Sauger, that you can go from nearly 3 wide, 3 rows deep, to back to 2 wide and nearly just 1 lane.
It really is interesting, especially in this class of racing, where you can try something different for a lap or 2. Figure out if it works, it doesn't work, and then immediately fall back in. but the order becomes completely shuffled. Some drivers will gain tremendously. Let's talk about Caleb Hunt again. He was only down one position where he was sitting when we talked about him last. Now Caleb Hunt's up 7 into 10th position. He's sitting pretty right now for the top 10 and working his way forward, where versus a couple of moments ago, we were talking about him being down one position overall from where he started this race. So it's just interesting to see this dynamic and the track evolve in different ways.
He was back in the 18th spot earlier, and now he's back up into the top 10. So the ebb and flow of what is super speedway racing is awesome to be able to pick apart and analyze. It is the 12 of Caleb Jones now up in front of what is now the new outside line. David Lucan giving him some pushes, as well as Andrew Allen. Lucan and Allen seem to be working well together today, coordinating blocks. They've stuck together for the past couple of laps, and it seemed to have worked out. David Mayberry might have been the biggest loser in all of that shuffling. He was up in the top 6, and now he's at the back of the pack. Whoa, big moment for Caleb Jones.
Caleb Jones in that number 12, now charging forward on Alex Pollock, the number 92 right now, charging up David Lucan in that number 52 as well, charging through the field and trying to find ways by. I'm keeping my eye on Stephen Gill, who is the runner up on that high line. Now he rests his head on that low lane in the 4th position in that lane right now, but 9th position overall.
So Alex Pollock led this race for nearly 10 laps, and now the lead will be taken away from him. Now, will it be by Caleb Jones, or will the lead be lap be led by David Lucan? Lucan up on the outside again with his pushing partner of Andrew Allen. Brett Wren right behind them, and Caleb Hunt. He was in 10th just a moment ago, and now he's up in 7th, nearly 6th. But the lap will be led by Lucan. It's the second time he has led today. And let's not forget, Sauger, we went green at lap 34, and if our math remains, that means drivers will have to pit at least by lap 65, probably at the latest. So pit stops could be upon us once again.
You're very right. That's a good call to make. The pit stop cycle will be in effect, or the pit window, as we say in road racing, is officially open now, as the drivers are going to start running low on fuel. But as strategy comes into play now, we're seeing drivers that have gone down on different strategies may be able to go a little bit longer potentially. We saw a lot of penalties come out for drivers coming down pit lane when it was closed as well, so the order might shake up. The drivers are very well aware that the pit stop cycle is open, and we're going to see the order start to shake up as they get more and more aggressive during this stage of the race.
So if you want to pit under green, I would suggest you be in that bottom line, but there are a lot of next-gen cars up on this high side, so at least for the moment, they're not planning on coming to pit road. David Lucan, he's going to be able to get to the bottom, whether he wants to lead that lane or whether he's getting prepared to come to pit lane. We'll just have to see in a couple of laps, but Lucan, him and Allen have been a very strong pairing, and I've mentioned it a couple times in the last few laps, but they've seemed very solid together with Lucan leading and Allen being a pusher.
They are working together effectively. It's like that movie Oblivion. Are you guys an effective team? Why, yes, we are an effective team as drivers head to the apron and get ready to come down pit lane. Like you called it, like you saw it. The driver's now forcing a third lane again, the high line opening up, being led by the number 96, and a little bit of touching going on between the 12 and the 52 now. It's getting a little crazy, and the cars are being collected front, left, and center, and this will lead to our first official caution, and I think we can call this one the big one.
I think we can too, and oh my gosh, Brett Wren piling into the 5. There are a lot of cars extremely damaged. That's Stephen Gill in the 5. The 63 of Jerry Salidas was involved. 92 of Alex Pollock was involved. Looked like Gino Valenti has been involved. No, he actually made it through. And someone who's a big benefit, who's a big benefit to this. Oh my goodness. Who is that? I am trying to find out who that is right now.
Number
Uh,
92 of
oh, that's
Alex
Alex Pollock. Oh
Pollock.
my
Oh
goodness.
my goodness.
And we never got the word. We actually had a different session. We were supposed to start the day today at the top of the hour of racing, and we had a session mistake with unlimited fast repairs. I think a lot of these drivers are wishing that was still the thing, but I'm not sure if we have any fast repairs at all. I guess let's watch Alex Pollock, because what he does in the pit lane, if he instantly is correct, is whoa, catches the banking in the apron there. He might have to tow this one back to pit road, but he'll try not to take that, because if he does, he will for sure go a lap down. But him coming into the pit lane and coming in for service will answer our question if these drivers have a fast repair or not. I think, Sauger, that more cars were involved in that than not, because I saw probably at least a dozen cars go up and around and make contact with another vehicle or the wall, and we only have 23 cars in this race. So we're going to have a lot to break down when we get the time to take a look at this replay. But anyone that made it through has now joined up with the pace car. Caleb Hunt was the first beneficiary of making it through. He is currently in the lead position with Michael Kish and Josh Chrisman behind him being your top three. But this is the 92 of Alex Pollock, who was leading about 10 or so laps when the lead was taken away from him by David Lucan and Caleb Jones. And oh, Alex Pollock, he's going to try to transition from the banking down to the apron, and that car is just completely out of control. But lead lap cars, they're still on the front stretch, so yeah, he's just trying to get it home.
And I've done some dissecting of this incident, and it's just crazy what happens at the front to collect the leaders. We will get a replay of this incident here in a few moments, but basically the 92 comes into the 12 leading into the 52, and that's what ends up happening. It's just a tragic crash, and thank God this is a sim and no lives were damaged in the making of this video.
Only egos and only pride. So Alex Pollock limping this 92 all the way around the 2.5 mile oval that is the Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. And honestly, the question is, was it faster to do that, or would it have been faster to just tow himself along? We'll never know now, but I think the question has been answered with cars still remaining on pit road, that there are no fast repairs to be had. So a lot of these cars are going to be probably out of it today that could be fighting for a race win. I still only see cars 2 laps down. Jerry Salidas, the only car I think maybe that has, Salidas has left the session. So Salidas will be our first car officially out of the race at Daytona, and it came right at the halfway mark.
Oh, absolute calamity here at the SOARDOGG
I really
Cup
didn't
Series.
think we were going to see it in the SOARDOGG Cup Series today. I really didn't.
We were running so well, Scott, for so long, up until the halfway point of the race. And here on lap 61, I believe we have our second competition caution coming out. As all
I don't think that was for competition.
No, not the initial start. Here's the replay of the 92 down to the low line, giving a little kiss to the 52. Man. And that's what sends him around. And then the calamity just ensues. Cars collecting each other. You could see the diffusers popping up, trying to control the cars, but it's just to no avail, unfortunately.
It's not often that you see 4 cars nearly go sideways at once. But that's exactly what happened. You're seeing eyes on track, drivers that did not get involved coming into the pit lane. Just a bit of a squeeze here. Yeah, 92 into the back of the 12, and at the same time, it looked like David Lucan was moving up at the same time. So it was just a recipe for disaster of drivers at one point, Pollock getting into the back of the 12 moving up and back down. And yeah, it was bound for something to happen right here. Just a difference in lane choices there, and Andrew Allen was up in the 3rd row on the outside and nowhere he could go, and just cars come slamming into him, and then everyone else in the pack, there was no one else nowhere to go. This is with Trippy, and great wreck avoidance by him, getting on the brakes as much as he can, barely avoiding Pollock there, avoiding Salidas, and still, there's Stephen Gill, there's the 47, David Moyer. He's eventually going to spin, but golly, he didn't touch
it.
Didn't touch a thing. Didn't touch a thing, and avoided about 7 different cars flying at him. And David Moyer was the last of them. He was the last man of defense, and Anthony Trippi was able to get around him. And wow, that was a very impressive watch along for wreck avoidance. But again, I think we've had, yeah, I mean, I've still got cars in the pit lane. I think up to 7th place I've still got in the pit lane at this moment. Yeah, Michael Kish is in 8th place, and he's still in the pit lane.
Now, my question is for the drivers that were in the back, such as Trippi, Charles Robertson, Gino Villanti, excuse me, do they get promoted up by staying out, and do they get their laps back at this point? It's looking good for them, right?
Yep. It looks like Trippi, Robertson, and Villanti all took the wave around. So that means, though, if they didn't pit, which you can't pit if you take the wave around, they're going to have almost no fuel. So if they're taking the wave around here, they're going to have to hope for another quick caution, because I don't know how much fuel is left in these cars, because we're at lap 63 and we pitted back. If you were the last to pit when we had our last pit stop, it was near 30 laps ago, about 29 laps ago. So if you have any fuel left and you haven't pitted, it's going to be very little. So it's going to have to be a quick caution, or they're going to have to pit and they're going to nearly be a lap down once again.
So it looks like Charles Robertson did pit on lap 59. Trippi into the pit now. Exactly what you said.
I guess they're allowing them to pit.
Yes.
And some the rules can be different for any series, any league. Normally, we go and think about the real world. We think about NASCAR, and we think about, if you take the wave around, you cannot pit. But hey, this is the sim. Rules can be whatever they want.
Yeah. And I think Trippi just figured that out, and he found the loophole there to be able to also come down pit road while also getting a lap back. Very tricky to negotiate that, but Trippi finds the loopholes there in the rules because he's out on the lane now. Now, Charles Robertson back onto the lead lap, up 10 positions now in the number 43. Looking good for him. Let's talk about my man Michael Kish for just a moment. He's down 4 from where he started. He was in the pit lane for a very long time, 1 minute and 46 seconds, but still running in 5th place.
He's got some heavy front end damage, so may not be able to lead the pack. Could maybe those stay in the draft. If we get some other cautions, we'll give him some time to fix this. Only 15 cars on the lead lap. Robertson, Valenti, and Trippi all join those cars, so they make up that 15. Here goes Caleb Hunt. He's going to get shuffled out of line really quickly. He was a leader at the time of caution, but now he's going to fall right on back. He's going to plummet.
And Jose Mercado in the number 6 car is also in the mix right now. I was just about to mention that. He was in that very first incident and now running in 2nd place of this event in the Ford. It's just phenomenal that the drivers that have stuck in it are still in the mix for a potential win as we just broached the halfway point of this race. The order is absolutely shaken up. We have Dave Mayberry, who's up 15 positions right now, running in 5th place, driving the number 29. Absolute craziness. And don't forget about our man Caleb Hunt in the number 19 Toyota. He's still in 8th somehow.
Well, and remember, we talked about David Mayberry and that he had gotten shuffled out of line when with that 3 wide kind of diminished the first time around. And if it had not have, he'd have been right in the middle of that wreck. But he got shuffled out, was at the back of the pack, and had enough time to slow up and avoid all of the chaos. And so what looked like it could have been a deficit to him was probably his saving grace.
Yeah, it really was. Drivers that were further back were able to kind of avoid that accident or take as little damage as possible versus those first 4 that really took the brunt of it into the wall here. And those walls are used to cars getting eaten up by them. And the catch fencing, well, they know how to do their job as well.
So it's Brock Whiteman up at the front with Jose Mercado as well as Dana Ryan. We have not talked much about Dana Ryan today. Ryan pitted before that caution, And so Ryan was nearly a lap down as, whoa, big movement from the aid of MJ Palmer. But back to Ryan. Ryan had pitted before that caution, and it came out before Ryan became a lap down. So Ryan was able to pick up some spots through it and stay clean of any damage. But all these damaged vehicles now, Sauger, it's going to change this pack, and the pack that can keep up with the front of them is going to be much smaller.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit smaller because the cars that were incurred in that damage, that were involved in that wreck really are just no longer here. So the pack going ever smaller, but drivers still staying in it. We still have Alex Pollock and David Moyer in pit lane right now. Caleb Jones, Jerry Salidas, Brett Wern, Joshua Thornton, and Stephen Gill all still in the mix.
They're all still in this fight, even though they will be laps down, trying to make their best finish that they can. It's a season-long effort, so every point is going to matter, no matter what. Even if you promote yourself from 18th to 15th, that is still points on the board. Only 11 cars up in this lead pack. So only 11 cars are able to stay with the speed of this front pack. So our field has instantly been narrowed from 23 that could have won this race, now only to 11.
Down to 11 in the pack. It's absolute craziness. Now, I'm just curious. I'm just looking at the history of Daytona. You think we can get something like the 1979 Daytona 500 with a big final lap crash between the leaders? We've seen the big one here, but are we about to have another big one going into the final stages?
So movement continues on up at the front. Dana Ryan going to take the lead of this race. Josh Chrisman on the outside with help of the 33. Whoa, wiggle from the 33. Near moment. It is getting a little scary around here, and I think everyone is a little bit on edge after that incident. That's Dustin Lewis in the 33. He's one lap down, so he is not in the fight for the win at the moment. If he could get his lap back through a caution and join back up with this fight, he could be, but he is still one lap down. Chrisman going to move back to the inside. Seems like we could have one lane running now.
Oh, and that 8 keeps on wiggling and weaving his way through the field. That's MJ Palmer in the Ford right now, running in 5th position in this single file line that seems to be the fastest of the bunch. But that 83, that'll be Josh Chrisman, looking at that high line like a tasty morsel, keeps on consuming it for a little bit of time, but goes down line for the block. Doesn't want to let the car behind have a run. That's Evan Janik behind in the number 60, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I want to take time to shout out the other sponsor here with the SOARDOGG Cup Series, and it is SOARDOGG. Custom apparel, full service production of branded clothing, including t-shirts, hoodies, and hats using various techniques, screen printing, embroidery, anything you can name. Performance and team gear, they've got specialized athletic wear and knit designs for teams, athletes, and high activity environments. And their personal products have a wide range of quote-unquote swag and merch, drinkware to accessories designed to increase brand visibility. If any of that gets your mind going, anything says like, hey, I might be a part of that, might be something I need, visit SOARDOGG.com. That is S-O-R-A-S. Oh my goodness, I'm S-O-R. Yeah, I said that right the first time. S-A. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind.
SOARDOGG.com.
Thank you, Sauger. I'm losing my mind today. I'm all out of it. The race has been crazy. Use code AWG for 10% off on all purposes. SOARDOGG, that's SOARDOGG.com, spelled by my good friend Sauger Boxy.
And
I had to get through that one.
You had to struggle through it to get it. And I will say, I looked it up as we were talking about it. Holy smokes and holy Toledo, these jerseys are fantastic. If you have a brand, a league, a community of individuals, and you're looking for gear, Check out SOARDOGG.com, the title sponsor of this Cup Series tonight. They're doing a great job of supporting the brand and the organization here to get the Cup Series going. But more importantly, their products look like high quality items. I think I'm ordering one today, Scott.
Hey, and that's SOARDOGG.com.
And what was the promo code one more time?
AWG for 10% off at your
Thank
time
you.
of purchase.
I'll make sure I use that to get my 10% off tonight.
Well, there you go. And if you want to do the same, go along with it. SOARDOGG will be the partnering sponsor with this series, this Cup Series, all season long, and we're bringing it to you on V-Speed. I think it'll be on another series for the rest of the season, but we here at V-Speed are happy to bring you all the action. We've also, here at V-Speed, we've got action every day of the week, whether it be road racing, whether it be formula racing, short track racing, or NASCAR style racing. Any day of the week, you can go to the V-Speed YouTube channel and you can find live racing broadcast every day of the week. Check us out at V-Speed on YouTube. So 74 laps complete. We're getting down to nearly 45 left to go. And we said it, not a lot of drive, nearly only half this field. There's a little
That would have been
graphic
nice
if
to
you were
have
ever
30 seconds
confused.
ago.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen Hill. Golly, Wired Orange, one of the best producers in the business. But a lot of cars out of this race and out of the fight for the lead. Only 11 of them left on the lead lap.
Oh man, 11 drivers on the lead lap, but we still have this gaggle of cars here up at the front. It's strange to me that we're finding this single file line to be the optimum one, and no one was really going for that high line, and we are about to broach that 3/4 way mark here and about 15 laps, so it's gonna come by quick at us because the drivers are still putting down 46.9s up in the front, 46.8s the last time around now.
Well, I think this is a great time, mostly single file racing, and 44 laps remain. Still a lot of action left to occur, left to go down. We're going to send it to a quick commercial. Do not go anywhere. We've got action remaining on the docket on the SOARDOGG Cup Series, action from Daytona. We'll be right back.
This is the greatest spectacle in racing. Huge run off turn number 2. He's going to look to the left, see if he can make a move down the backstretch. We're 220 miles an hour side by side. Down into turn number 1, is anybody gonna lift? Here they come down the backstretch. Diving into turn number 3, it's a drag race back to the finish line.
Racing isn't easy. but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back to the racing action in the lead. Josh Christman will lead the charge, and Brock Whiteman in second place in the number 41. Scott Shive leading us away. I'm Sagar Bakshi, and in the booth is Christian Hill giving us all the live coverage tonight.
Well, I'm back. Had to refresh my water bottle. Had to get ready because you never know what could go down in these last 39 laps. But for the first time, we are seeing complete single file racing action.
And it's all running good right now, Scott. We haven't seen another caution. We haven't seen another breakaway just yet. But interestingly enough, it looks like the drivers here have really settled into this single file line. What does that mean for the remaining half of this race that we have?
Well, we know that we're going to have to pit at least one more time. And if the math serves right, it'll probably be around lap 93 to 96. And so then that will get everybody to the end. So this might be a little bit of fuel saving, but there's nowhere near enough to get to the end. It is guaranteed that every driver in this field that is still running will have to make at least one more pit stop. But there's so few cars on this lead lap now and in this lead pack that really it's hard to fight side by side. It's hard to get enough people to join you on that outside lane for you not to go straight to the back. So at this point, with 37 to go, there's no point in charging up and making an outside line because there's nothing on the line yet. We're 37 laps from something being on the line, and that being the victory.
So is that what people are looking for when they get up to that high side line? They're looking for that dance partner to assist them, to drive forward, to really
Can't do it alone.
You can't do it alone. I'm starting to get it. You need that push from the car behind that high side line because you're obviously going a longer radius around the cars on that low side line. It's just physics, right? Something along those lines. But yes, I'm starting to understand oval racing a little bit better every time that I'm involved in it. And it's just a different breed of racing that produces different types of enjoyment. And I think the drivers that enjoy road racing are definitely of a different breed than the drivers that enjoy oval racing, but it's still thrilling nonetheless.
It's fun, and the thing about super speedway racing is that things can change within an instant. You know, you saw how quickly it went earlier from 3 wide all the way back to nearly single file racing, and it was less than a lap of time, under 50 seconds, that it completely changed, and these drivers racing at nearly 200 miles an hour. So at such a high rate of speed, things can change so very quickly. This might be we thought the first stint was calm with the first 30 laps running side by side. I think this is officially the calmest we have been all day, but still that 8 of MJ Palmer, he's been a little squirrely all day.
He sure has, and he continues to be squirrely. Left, right, and center. He is just looking for any way by. He doesn't look satisfied with P4. I mean, it's not a net gain by any margin so far. He is a net 0. Dave Mayberry, the driver in front in the number 29, however, is up 17. And the driver with 1795 I rating is looking pretty good on the grid in third place overall.
So 35 laps remain. It is Josh Chrisman up front, then it's Brock Whiteman, David Mayberry, MJ Palmer, and Dana Ryan. And you might be wondering, why did I not mention the 33 of Dustin Lewis, who is currently second in the running order? Well, he's actually a lap down, and he is running in 13th spot. He's just up in the second position in the lane, but he is not actually in second position within the running order. He is 1 lap down. A driver who I cannot believe is not 1 lap down is Andrew Allen. He was on the outside of that massive crash we had at lap 60, and yet he was somehow able to stay on the lead lap, and he's currently in 7th behind Caleb Hunt.
And Devin Lucan as well, driving that number 52, up 10 positions. Evan Janik and that number 60 up 12. It's just absolutely crazy that these drivers that were further back in the field kept their nose clean and charged their way forward. It really is that common saying in motorsports, in order to win, you have to be there at the finish, right? And these drivers were just there when the time presented itself to get these opportunities and get these massive gains.
Caleb Hunt, you saw him touch the apron there, entry to 3. That got him a little bit loose. It's so easy to tap that apron, and it is very easy for that to send your car absolutely into a just fight or flight mode. More drivers on the apron, but at this point, it really becomes a question of, will we see this? I imagine we'll see it stay like this until at least after the pit stops, which should be coming up here in just a couple laps.
Like you said, about 5 laps. Last pit stop cycle occurred at lap 61 for most of the field during that big wreck, and we'll see the drivers go that 30 or so laps before they come down pit row again. And I expect some drivers are being a little conservative on that loud pedal and trying to save a little bit of fuel to ensure that they can make it to the end with a healthy margin.
So 12 cars remain on the lead lap. It's still 11. Jose Mercado at the end of that lane. We saw him up fighting in the 2nd or 3rd position, but he has dropped out and moved to the back of this line. This line is consisting of about 17 cars, but again, only 11 of them are on the lead lap. But about 17 staying in line and staying single file. But at this point, maybe save a little extra fuel, maybe try to get a little bit farther, but you're just following the guy behind you. Nothing much to it.
Oh no, my man Charles Robertson comes down pit lane lap 89. That means that this last stint's gonna have to be 31 laps. I'm not sure if he can make it up. He's praying for a caution. If that's the case, he's on his way out. Gino Vellanti also in the pits. Stephen Gill in the number 5 out on pit row now. David Moyer also in the box.
So the pit window is open to make it to the end, but that does not account. If you pit now, that does not account for any of the possible green-white checkers that we could have. We have 3 of them that we can use, and that would add more beyond that 30-lap mark. So if I'm someone, I'm running this all the way to the end of the tank safely enough to be able to get back to my box.
That's a very good point that I did not consider, is the green-white checker, meaning that we'll get bonus laps to the end. So now,
here come some of the front runners.
Everybody's diving in. There goes Crispin, Dana Ryan, Michael Kish, Dustin Lewis as well. So this is Brock Whiteman, Dave Mayberry, MJ Palmer, Caleb Hunt, Andrew Allen, David Lucan, Evan Janik, and Jose Mercado out there on that lead lap.
We'll take a look here. This was earlier. This was the green flag pit stop going on at this very moment. See the pace car just hanging out, but all these other drivers trying to get in and get out. So quick stops here, fuel only for most of these drivers. trying to get in and get right back out on the road. Whoa, there came another one, and I think that might have been the 6 of who was that? Somebody just missed the pit lane. Oh, that was Anthony Trippi. Anthony Trippi tried to come in and was too fast on entry, missed it, and had to swerve through the grass and get back on the road. That is going to be a massive loss of time for the driver that was already 1 lap down.
We talked about it already, how critical it was to get the pit entry right. Those downshifts having to be smooth and the lockups being big points of error coming down pit lane. But it looks clean for most of the drivers, but Trippi, unfortunately, tripping over his own 2 feet.
Oh, or his own 4 wheels. Yeah, just a lockup there. Good decision to go ahead and back out of it. You would lose more time to having to come and do a 40-second stop and go. So initially a good decision to be able to get away from the commitment cone there, but it is going to hurt him nonetheless.
And
Hunt,
here,
he's
go
in.
ahead.
It looks like David Lucan is in. So more drivers coming in to complete their last times in what should be their last times in the pit lane.
This race has absolutely flown by us. We're into the last stint finally, but we still have cars bunched up close to each other. Pack racing is going to exist for the remaining stage of this event. I am absolutely here for it. This NASCAR Cup Series, sponsored by SOARDOGG, has been so entertaining today. I've got my cup of coffee, I've got my dog next to me. What else could you want on a Sunday morning?
You couldn't want anything much more. See the power of the pack led by Brock Whiteman, already up to speed and carrying a ton of momentum, but they're coming up on 3 drivers ahead of them, Evan Janik, Andrew Allen, and Jose Mercado. They're going to try to block off this running pack, get up to speed as fast as they can. This is a question of defense that we mentioned earlier. Can they get up to speed fast enough? I think they will. I think they'll have enough that they can absolutely pull in front of Brock Whiteman and become and assume the new lead of this what was one big pack.
This is
They will. They won't even have to throw a block.
No, this is going to get spicy really quickly as that pack catches up to the race leaders right now. This is just getting so entertaining and so dicey. Evan Janik, who's leading the pack right now in front of Andrew Allen. Now the second line is forming with the 92 and the 33.
Reminder, the 33 of Dustin Lewis, 1 lap down. Alex Pollock, he is plenty of laps down, 26 of them. We saw him crab walking earlier, and now he's there enough to be able to drive in a straight line. At this point, like we said, just fighting for points. Maybe hoping that some other drivers will bow out of this fight and that he can leapfrog them and get some extra points. He already leapfrogged the 47 of David Moyer, who is extra laps down now, 33 of them. That's how Tala on the outside of the 9. He's 3 laps down after getting involved in that big incident early on at lap 60.
That's right. The Quick Trip car was involved in that accident. Man, so many cars were involved in that accident. The 32 goes down the line and recovers after a touch. Holy Toledo.
Big moment for the 92 and the 33, both laps down. And that could have been very scary for the other drivers in this field that are on the lead lap and still in this fight for the win. Josh Chrisman, he might have been a little scared there being right behind it.
Unbelievable save and recovery there. I thought for sure we were going to get our caution, and that was going to be the big one. But those diffusers coming out and really helping the driver recover the car in those spins has been one of the saving graces of safety going into the next gen cars. It's just been so interesting to see the evolution of these vehicles come from just ordinary stock cars to just high performance machines that are capable of saving lives while going at 200 miles per hour.
You've got to be quick, you've got to be on your feet, and you've got to be hands on the wheel. Oh my goodness! Oh, right in front of Josh Chrisman. And
What a
just
save.
just a push that just right in the wrong spot, and it was just enough to get 92 of Alex Pollock just in a bad position. Yeah, right on that left rear of the rear bumper. It's a very vulnerable spot to push on, and right at the entry to the corner, it was nearly a recipe for disaster for those behind. Josh Chrisman might need a new pair of pants.
Yeah, I might need a new pair of pants because I was screaming and shouting while it was happening the entire time. I thought it was over and I thought it was going to be a disaster, but no, fortunately not. MJ Palmer at the back of this pack in that pink number 8, shining bright for black flag. And he's going down the lane, and he is going to get one sooner rather than later, and I hope he does it now. Just bumping and grinding with the car in front. That should be Dave Mayberry in that number 29 out in front. And a little push and shove on that low line now. Being generous about the overspeed that he's carrying with him.
So we're seeing some mixing up of the pack for the first time since we've gone single file. Some drivers thinking about that second lane. Others thinking it might still be too early. We're coming up on another driver, lap traffic. So you're going to have to navigate around this car. That is the 92 of Pollock, who we just saw get a little bit squaggly earlier on the on the front bumper of the 33 of Lewis. So Pollock will lose another lap.
Now, if you're Pollock, what's going through your head? Do you try to follow in single file line? Like you said, he's just out there to collect as many points as possible. But let's talk about someone like Dustin Lewis, who's only down 1 in the number 33. What is going through your head in this final stage as we just have nearly 21 laps left to go?
I could still be fine sitting in a single file pack here. Now, when we get to 10 to go, I want to start generating something. If I have teammates, I want to be talking to them. I want to have a plan formulated. And if I don't have teammates, I kind of have to hope and pray, because it is really hard to coordinate starting another lane when you are solo, when it is just you, because it is very easy for you to go out, try to begin a lane, and everyone just to leave you out to dry, and you could go straight to the back. And once you get back there, there is not going to be a lot of time to work your way back forward when a second lane begins to form. So at this point, I'm hoping I have teammates, first of all. And if I do, at this point, I am coordinating with them and coming up with a plan, because at some point, you're going to have to jump out of line.
And jumping out of line is something that seems to be a little concerning for the drivers. We've seen them jump out of line, wait for a partner, they don't come, lose a couple of positions, fall back in single file line. And Michael Kish has done that a few times now, trying to advance his way. Dave Mayberry is a driver that has decided not to do that. And so has Caleb Hunt, who has just roller coastered his way up and down the grid all night long. But for now, with 19 to go, he's in P3, gaining 14 on the evening.
14 gain for the 19 of Caleb Hunt. He's in a good spot. He's in a good position. But you know that any of these drivers that are still in the lead lap, still in this pack, if they have a fight for it, if they have the car for it, they're going to want to try to fight for the win. Look at this. 2 cars I'm seeing that I would absolutely believe that might work together to go start this second lane would be the 52 of Devin Lucan and the 96 of Andrew Allen. They worked together so great in the first half of this race. Both now back with no damage. They were involved in that big incident at lap 60. They're 2 that I would absolutely say have been the best 2 pair to work together all day long.
But it looks like Caleb Hunt and Andrew Allen might be teammates, as they both have the Country Candles banners flying on their cars. Maybe they will talk to each other a little bit and find a way by the rest of the field. We talked about it at the top of the show, pushing with precision, and it's just a little bit of a push there can mean the difference between making or breaking that line. But having a partner is the most important thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, he got a little wide there out of 2, and he's looking like he's going to pull out of line here.
Oh.
This is interesting. He's gotten very far out from the front of the pack. This could allow Evan Janet to go roll right around him with the help of Caleb Hunt. Will they pick him back up, or will they stay in line? This is very interesting. I guess he's given more air to the nose of the 60, but he's just pulling out of line. This could tell me that everyone might be saving fuel right now, just saving up some extra for a possible overtime, because with Mercado pulling out of line like that, the bottom line should fly past him. So that means that this pack must not be full throttle.
Interesting. Very interesting, because Mercado seems to be, I would call this the mixed line. Is that correct?
I would say so, and you normally don't see that at Daytona because it's really unnecessary. But for him being able to do this on the outside line and the pack not catch up to him, absolutely the rest of this field is saving fuel. Everyone is not foot to the floor. They're saving fuel for possible overtimes, because that's something that we can very much see. And so, yeah, everyone's saving fuel right here, and Mercado's just kind of going where he wants right now.
Yeah, and the field serpentining behind him as well, trying to catch that draft. But as you say, Evan Janik in that low side just getting hit with that, not dirty air, but the brunt force of it. And holy smokes, who is that on the high side finding their way by in the blue and red car?
Dana Ryan.
Dana Ryan shaking and baking his way through. Holy smokes.
This is what fuel saving allows you. Look at Josh Chrisman. He just went from 8th all the way to the 3rd with the help of Lewis in the 33. I mean, they could just put their foot to the floor and drive up right around everybody else. So now Jose Mercado is in 2nd. Dana Ryan was able to go all the way from about 7th position to 1st on his own. That's not something you often see on a super speedway, but when everyone was saving fuel as much as they were, it allowed him to just go and drive right up around everybody. That was a massive play by Dana Ryan, and if we don't see too many overtimes or even no overtimes, that could be a move that could win you the race, because now he has control.
100%. This is the race winning position that you want to be in. We talked about it again earlier at the top of the show. You want to be in that top 5 towards the end of the race. Top 10 would be good, but it's very hard to slingshot your way from the back of the pack outside the top 10 into the lead. But it looks like Dana Ryan proves me wrong and was able to figure out, because the rest of the field, like you said, was stalling out because of the amount that there were fuel saving in this pack. Dana Ryan doing that fuel saving a little bit earlier, pitting on lap 90, feels like they can go to the end.
Most drivers at least can go, everyone can go to the scheduled distance. It's the question of if we get a late race caution that sends us to extra laps and extra overtime. Dana Ryan looks like they could be doing the same thing, that the pack might be slowing down once again, continuing to save fuel, because Ryan pulls out of line from that front spot and then in the corners pulls back in line in front of Mercado.
Jose Mercado was looking for that dance partner and definitely found the helping hand of Dana Ryan out in the lead and punching a hole in the air for the rest of the pack. Josh Chrisman in 83, and now we're going to go on board with Janik. Here is the number 19 on that outside line. That's Caleb Hunt we're looking at, and it is the Country Candles team forming that high line, working together as a pair right now.
You called it, Sauger. You called it. The 19, the 96 working together, riding along with Evan Janik in the 60, and now it goes from 0 to 4 cars in that outside lane. Dana Ryan pulls up to block Brock Whiteman. He's in the back of the 4-car pack, trying to lead up with them, and 2 more coming up with them as well. That is the 8 of MJ Palmer pushing David Mayberry. And so now there's more cars on the outside line. It's so quick, it can happen just like that. Only Mercado and Chrisman are down the low line. Now Ryan pulls back down in line with them.
Absolute chaos here as that high line just formed out of thin air, and it started with the 2 Country Candle cars, and all of a sudden that bump draft turned into 3, 4, 5, 6 cars that are working together, and all of a sudden the high line is fast again, and the 96 is working their way forward. Andrew Allen doing a great job of controlling that field. MJ Palmer now getting the advance on the low line.
So it's Mercado and Ryan. Ryan nearly losing it in front of the 6 of Mercado. There's not much room that he can pull out a line and a run might generate. So at this point, if I'm Ryan, I'm staying in line, but he still continues to pull out on the occasion here and there. But Chrisman, he stayed committed to that bottom line with Mercado, and they have at least stayed within the top 3. Mayberry pulled back into line, so is Brock Whiteman. They're 5th and 6th. Andrew Allen is currently in the 7th spot, so that outside run that him and Caleb Hunt tried to generate did not pay off in their favor.
No, it did not. And unfortunately for Michael Kish, he's down in 11th place. Unfortunately, my man that I called out earlier in the race did get a lick of the commentator's curse, unfortunately, in that Chevy. Now, it's up to the leaders with just a few laps remaining in this heat. It is absolutely phenomenal stuff what MJ Palmer is doing out here. He is wiggling and weaving his way to the checkered flag with only a few to go. The drivers are reforming that high line. That'll be the 33 and the 60 of Evan Janik in tow.
So the aggression this pack is picking up at this point. When we come back to it, it'll be 8 laps remaining. Still led by Dana Ryan. I think these are the first laps that Dana Ryan has led all day. Ryan has gotten up to about the 2nd or 3rd spot only a couple times, but Ryan took massive advantage of when everyone was fuel saving. He went up, came, and took the lead, and now he's able to control it. Mercado has gotten a good run on the inside, so Ryan will not be able to come back down and block it. But here we go. Just as I say that, great momentum from the top side.
It is good momentum in the top side. They're carrying that speed effectively through. Here comes the 83 trying to push along in front. It's a good push, but will it be enough? It's just 8 laps left to go. Now things are going to get a little dicey as the Valvoline car dives up to the high line with a block.
Well, and this pack is being led by Dustin Lewis, who is a lap down. The pack is being led by a car that's a lap down, so he's not even the leader. The leader is the 60 of Evan Janik.
Oh, man, this is not a good place to be in right now. You're trying to be the lucky dog, but it's not going to be lucky for you the way these cars are wiggling and weaving their way to the checkered flag right now. 7 to go, folks. Don't go anywhere.
This is going to be quite an entertaining finish. The potential teammates between Janik and Mercado both running that RFK style number. So I've got to imagine they've been working together for most of the evening. David Ryan, he got pushed up to the outside. He's currently in 4th position in that number 1 machine. Then it is Josh Chrisman, currently 3rd on the inside line, 4th in the running now. Him and Ryan continue to trade that 3rd spot back and forth, and David Mayberry rounds out the top 5, 4th car in line on the inside, and off the nose of Ryan goes the 33, and around goes Dustin Lewis. Mayberry gets tagged in it, but we're off the racing surface and will remain green.
Going straight into the replay now, we'll get a look at what exactly unfolded here in just a moment. It's looking good right now for the remaining drivers, but single file line is what we're going to see for the remainder, Scott. I think drivers got a lick of some action, and now we're all a little bit timid, to say the least.
Definitely timid. I don't think it'll stay that way for too much longer. With only 6 laps to go, again, the time to make your move is coming. And for the point of Janik and Mercado, they're probably going to stay up, help each other, and probably try to guarantee that one of them takes the checkered flag first. Now, I see a different story for Chrisman, Ryan, Allen, Whiteman, Palmer, Hunt, Lucan, and the rest of the cars on the lead lap, because now there's only 9 cars on the lead lap remaining in this pack. We lost Michael Kish early on with his damage. Still in the lead lap, but not in this pack. And now David Mayberry has fallen out of it after that little scuffle with the 33 of Justin Lewis.
Evan Janik, Jose Mercado, Josh Chrisman, Dana Ryan round out your top four. Andrew Allen in fifth, Brock Whiteman, NJ Palmer, Caleb Hunt, Devin Lucan, and Dave Mayberry will round out the top 10 here tonight. And now it's all up to the Puerto Rican man, Jose Mercado, to see if he can get the win tonight, both in the Ford Mustangs, in the Fords, driving their hearts out. Evan Janik up 20 positions tonight. Can you believe it? What an incredible drive from Janik.
We'll take another look back at this replay with Ryan and the 33 of Lewis. And yeah, Mayberry just nowhere really to go. Impressive that Mayberry was able to keep it straight and not lose too much time, not collect any damage. And again, for that, the 33 being spun off the racing surface, it will not bring out a late race caution. But that is heartbreaker for David Mayberry, who was probably one of the best pushers of the day.
Really unfortunate circumstances, but anything can and will happen in motorsports, and it usually does. Like I said, it's where do you want to be at the end of the race is the question. And I think these first four have found their spots. Now we have a new Highline forming that includes MJ Palmer in the backfield. Will that be effective or not? We see drivers going to block off their run, and nearly 3 wide coming through the trioval.
Nearly 3 wide. Brock Whiteman trying to form that third lane on the outside with the help of the 8 of MJ Palmer. Drivers just doing anything at this point to try to challenge the 2 teammates of Janik and Mercado up front. Now that second lane being led by the 83 of Josh Chrisman. Now Ryan's going to jump up into it. This is when that run can generate. It's 4-5 inside line versus outside line. Still being led by Janik. It'll be 2 to go this next time when we come to the flag stand.
This is exactly what you pay to see, folks. A great pack battle with only 3 left to go here at Daytona, the home of motorsports, folks. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial, because right now Evan Janik is wiggling down to the apron. He's touching the paint but not crossing the line, and he's having a big old wiggle because of it. Now, if you're Jose Mercado, what's going through your head? Are you happy with P2? Are you hoping to get a little push from the 96 of Andrew Allen and the Candles? And there's a big touch down to MJ Palmer from Dave Mayberry, but he's able to recover it, and we're going to stay green flag running with 2 to go.
Now coming to the white flag, we will finish this thing now. No matter what happens, the white flag has been taken. It's 2 teammates and then 2 teammates up front. Janik and Mercado working together, Allen and Hunt working together. Can Hunt and Allen generate anything coming out of turn 2 and into turn 3? Does Mercado at any point leave his teammate of Janik and go for the win? Here goes Allen. He makes the move to the outside. Hunt goes with him. Now the big block by Janik. That leaves Mercado out all on his lonesome. Now it's 2 teammates stacked up behind Janik. Hunt looks low. Allen and Lucan get together. They stack up. A little bit of tagging between the 2 and Caleb Hunt. Janik still all on his lonesome. Here comes the run from the outside, but the 2 teammates tag, and it's Janik going all the way to the end. He'll win it at Daytona in the World 100 300. Woo!
Caleb Hunt and Andrew Allen, the 2 teammates coming together, uncrossing the checkered line. Unbelievable finish there, but we finished under green flag conditions despite the incident. What a run for the Daytona, brought to you by SOARDOGG.
World Center of Racing was what I was going for, but it is the World 100, the World 300. Well, we are at the World Center of Racing, and that's what you waited for. Wow, that was fun.
Yeah, that was an exciting and thrilling event. 120 laps around Daytona, and the drivers did it with precision and style. Evan Janik taking the big fat W, and we'll get to drank a ton of champagne, or do they do milk in NASCAR? I think they do milk in NASCAR. Started in 21st,
milk
led us
IndyCar.
for 14 laps. Milk is IndyCar. Okay, so you can tell where my road racing knowledge lies.
No, you're on the right track, because here's the thing: Daytona 500, Indy 500. Indy 500 has the milk. Daytona 500, well, you just get the J. Earl Trophy. So that's what Evan Janik will get today for the Daytona 300, not the World 100. I got so excited at the World Center of Racing because, man, what a finish we were treated to, and Evan Janik will burn it down, and rightfully so. That was a really impressive job for him and his teammate Mercado working together in the block, the teammates of the 96 and the 19, and they eventually took each other out, and Janik was able to coast himself off of turn 4 all the way to the checkered flag. So congratulations to Evan Janik, taking the W in the season opener of the National Sim Racing League Association SOARDOGG Cup Series from Daytona. Let's take a look at the results from the 23 cars that ran today. It was Janik taking the victory and becoming victorious at the World Center of Racing as he finishes burning it down. Devin Lucan came up just short. He was so close. It seemed like him and Andrew Allen could work so well together all afternoon long, but at the end of it, there just wasn't enough for them. It was Mercado, the teammate of Janik, finishing in third on the podium. We'll get to chat with him. Brock Whiteman had a solid day all day long, finishes in the top 5. Same with Josh Chrisman, who started on pole. Dana Ryan had a great move late to try to power up in front of everybody. It just didn't work out in the end. MJ Palmer started in 4th, finishes in 7th. David Mayberry, after that late race scuffle with the 33, finishes in 8th. Caleb Hunt, after getting tagged with his teammate Andrew Allen, they round out the top 10, 9th and 10th.
In 11th place, we'll have my man that I voted for, Michael Kish, in 11th place. Started in 3rd, finished in 11th. Then we have Lewis, who started 6th, and he was in the number 33 in 12th position. Robertson in the 43 will finish in 13th place. Trippy in 14th. Vellante in 15th. Thornton in 16th. Hatula in 17th. Gill in 18th. Pollock in 19th. Moyer in 20th.
Running out this field, 21st, David Wren in the 14. Salidas in 22nd, like you said, and Caleb Jones in the 12. Oh man, that was fun, and what a wild end to what a crazy day. Well, I think we're gonna send it to commercial here because we're waiting on our top 3 to join us along in the waiting room where we can get to speak with them after what a crazy finish it was at the World Center of Racing in the Daytona 300. We'll come back to you in just a moment.
This is the greatest spectacle in racing. Huge run off turn number 2. He's going to look to the left, see if he can make a move down the backstretch. We're 220 miles an hour side by side. Down into turn number 1. Is anybody gonna lift? Here they come down the backstretch. Diving into turn number
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the World Center of Racing at Daytona International Speedway, where we just wrapped up the Daytona 300 about in the SOARDOGG Cup Series. And man, that was fun in the SOARDOGG Cup Series. Well, let's get to talk to your race winner. Let's go ahead and pull in Evan Janik. Hey, Evan, you got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, Evan, it's been quite a while since I've gotten to talk to you personally, but I'm talking to you in the same position I've talked to you before, driving this next-gen Cup car, and that's in Victory Lane, and quite a wild finish it was.
Yeah, I will say it's one of the better finishes I've had, and, just in plate tracks in general, but definitely a lot going on for sure.
Well, I mean, talk to me about that last lap. What's going through your head? I imagine with the same number font that you and Jose were teammates working together trying to fend off the 19 to 96. What's going through your mind? Take me through that last lap from your perspective in the seat.
But yeah, no, I actually had no help up there.
Oh, there we
My
go.
help was Alex Pollock and Dustin Lewis pushing me to get me up front, and then they got shuffled back. So um, I was having to manage the runs and just making sure that as soon as I saw their headlights in my mirror, I knew that they got too far back and would get a run, so I was dragging a lot of brake. I mean, there was a lot of games just going back and forth, making sure that nobody can get the run on each other, and that ended up paying off.
Well, this is a season-long affair. Will you be taking place?
Yeah, that's the plan. Only thing that would keep me is my real life racing responsibilities. So as long as everything in the shop's going good and my car is ready for the weekend, I should be here.
Well, I guess I think if I'm looking right, I want to go back and take another second look at the schedule to make sure I know what is up and coming next for y'all. I believe, yes, it's going to be Phoenix, and it should be in just 2 days from now.
Yeah, we had to shuffle some things around. We still haven't decided the championship for last season, so we had some issues with numbers, and we're hoping that we'll get more. So Tuesday we'll decide the championship between myself and a teammate Alex Pollock. So we will have that going on as well as the second race of the new season.
Wow, so a lot to fight for come Tuesday.
Absolutely.
It'll be a lot for you to battle. Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, the 33 and 92, both of them. I definitely couldn't have gotten in that position without them. Um, they were having some off nights and were caught laps down, but they stayed in it and were definitely a team player. Definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Thank you to Black Diamond Designs. And for our new sponsor, sorry if I get it wrong, but I believe it's SOARDOGGs. They're able to sponsor the series, which helps us broadcast it. So big thanks to them and everything that goes into that. And thank you to you guys for broadcasting this race.
Well, absolutely. And don't worry, you didn't get it wrong because I know that because I've gotten it wrong a couple times tonight. SOARDOGG, correct? SOARDOGG Cup Series. Congratulations, Evan, on the win.
Thank you.
Evan Janik, your winner in the opening round of a new season of the Cup Series here with the National Sim Racing League Association, the SOARDOGG Cup Series. Let's bring in driver number 2. That is Devin Lucan, and he will be with Sauger.
Devin Lucan, do you have a copy, brother?
Yes, I do.
Man, oh man, what a roller coaster of a race. You have risen and fallen throughout this event. Talk us through what was going on for the number 52 all race long.
Oh man, there's a lot going on. Mainly fuel saving, of course, but start off with not too good of a qualifying. So pretty much all of stage one, just sitting in the back, saving fuel. Got lined up with my FLM teammates, and towards the end of the stage, just went through pretty easily. Not much really going on there. Finished P5 in that stage, then had a calm stage two, leading a couple laps. Then I don't know exactly what happened in that wreck, but just got hooked. Had repair damage. Still had some damage at the end of the race. Then
Wow.
it was just the entire time just working with the 96 and 19 and just stayed together, saving fuel there, and worked out in the end. I was going to push Andrew in the 96 to the win there. I don't know what happened between those two, but they got together and let me get through to P2.
Very fortunate for you. Now, what were you thinking going into this race, starting from the back of the pack in 18th place? Was it all about fuel saving? Was it all about staying in that high line, low line? What was your strategy?
Pretty much strategy for the first two stages was just stay in line and save fuel and just be able to get myself in a good spot for the end of the race, and ended up working out that way.
Sounds like you followed the keys to the race pretty successfully, and they worked out almost pitch perfectly for you, Mr. Lucan. Now, is there anybody that you'd like to shout out or anybody that you'd like to thank this evening?
And all my teammates at FLM, we just worked really well together, and us three at the end had all in position to win, and just fortunate to work out for us, but we all worked very well together.
You sure did, Devin Lucan. Thank you very much for joining us in the booth. Have a great night, and as always, make sure you stay safe out there.
Thank you, you too.
That was Devin Lucan, second place finisher. Let's bring in Jose. And I think we're having a little bit of trouble. Well, let's try to bring it. There he goes. He's in. Jose, you got a copy? I think he's on the mute button right now. Jose, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there he is. All right. Glad we got you there. Well, for a minute, I was thinking that you and Evan Janik were teammates with y'all's RFK paint schemes, but I learned from him quickly that y'all were not, and you were kind of working solo out there, it seemed like, as well. You went from spinning off of turn two early in this race to finishing in third.
Yeah, once that spin happened, I just decided I'll back it off and, not worry about stage points and just ride in the bag. I knew there was a big wreck going to happen. So did that, avoided the big wreck, and then just stayed in it for the stage three.
When it comes to that final lap, when it comes to you riding behind Janik, knowing that two teammates are behind you with Allen and they're with Hunt, what are you thinking about making the move? Because I know you decided to just kind of stay in line. Are you thinking about trying to pick up the 96 and the 19 and go with them? Or at that point, were you thinking, let me push the 60 and I'll just get a second place here and that'll be good?
That was the plan. I told the 60 I was committed to his bumper. I knew the Toyotas were teammates. There were three Toyotas there. And I was telling him, as soon as you see him go to the outside, that's when we're making, the final push. I just try to cool my car off so I can have those last two laps of just being connected to the bumper and pushing past the Toyotas. But they had a huge run. I believe that the one got into the back of one of the Toyotas and got him into the other Toyota, and I was able to slip by for the third place.
Well, and it's a great start to the season for you and what will be an extremely long season. So not a bad way to start it out, Jose.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I had no teammates out there, so I had to stick with the Fords.
Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
Everybody, the teammates. I know Mr. Berry, he picked me up without knowing anything on my background. So appreciate him putting me in the team and, got him in top three for the start of the season. And everybody that puts the league together, all the admins and everything, everybody up in the booth. Appreciate you guys taking the time for all that.
Well, hey, congratulations on third place. Best of luck to you in the next race.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
That was Jose finishing out the podium, and he had a great night, really up and down night, Sauger, and yet he was able to bring it back to a podium finish. Not a bad way to start your season, especially at a super speedway, making it out in one piece. Not a lot of people were able to do that tonight.
No, they weren't. We had a couple of victims fall to the wayside, unfortunately, including Alex Pollock, Stephen Gill, Hatula as well. But drivers that fared well and stayed out of trouble, were able to gain a good haul of points for this championship. We've only just begun, as they say in songs, but now it's time to close things out. Scott, final thoughts on the evening? Because my big worry or my big concern is, when do we go racing next?
Well, I mean, for these drivers, I don't know about you and I, but they race on Tuesday. They go to Phoenix, and apparently they're not only racing the second race of this season, they're also deciding a championship from last season.
That is exciting to see, because this grid of drivers was dressed to impress, and they really did put on a great show. I'd love to see what they can do in other make series as well.
Well, thank you to everyone and all the admins, Alex Pollock, everybody here with the SOARDOGG Cup Series. Best of luck to the rest of them, whether we get to cover any of their races or not. We here at V-Speed always appreciative to be able to get in on the action with a lot of these amazing leagues, and it's great to be working with a lot of excellent people. What a great race it was from Daytona for the Daytona 300 in the National Sim Racing League Association and the SOARDOGG Cup Series. That'll be all from us from behind the booth. I've been joined along by Sagar Bakshi and our producer, Christian Hill. My name is Scott Shive. We'll see you next time on V-Speed. Congratulations to Evan Janik, your winner from Daytona.
This is the greatest spectacle in racing. Huge run off turn number 2. He's going to look to the left, see if he can make a move down the backstretch. We're 220 miles an hour side by side. Down into turn number 1. Is anybody gonna lift? Here they come down the backstretch. Diving into turn number 3. It takes dragways back to the finish line.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.